Hello, everybody. How are you?
Hi.
Oh, I feel so good to be back in the house with Fran on Friday. I have missed you for the last couple of weeks. I apologize. I had opportunity to do some teaching and I didn't want to give that up. So
Awesome.
I very much enjoyed. I was in special education one day. I was in kindergarten one day. So just two alleys that I was very happy to be in. And but I did miss you, Fran, and I missed interacting with you and our audience. And so I hope we have an audience to interact with today. If you're here with us live, let us know, #live or just hello. If you're watching from StreamYard, remember you have to give them permission or they will respect your privacy and not tell us who you are. So if you don't tell us who you are every single time that you post, then we just don't know. It'll just say Facebook user.
What do you say? Hi, Facebook.
Yeah, exactly. Now there may be a comment or two that, we might be able to figure out who you were, but
yeah,
it doesn't stay that way because it'll always pop up as Facebook user until you actually give them permission. So if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to subscribe. If you're watching on Facebook, make sure to like and hit the little bell button so that you can be notified every time we go live and we do something exciting like this. So, Fran, how have you been?
Seeing it. How have I been? Oh my goodness gracious, girl! It has been an interesting whirlwind of life.
Yeah.
How does that sound?
That sounds interesting and whirlwindy.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it's been. It's been a whirlwind, and I'm not sure which way's up sometimes, but it's okay.
Yeah.
But I have missed this, and I've had people go, "Are you doing that?" I checked and there was nothing. And so that makes me feel good that maybe, we're spreading cheer and Jesus love and helping people navigate this wonky world of raising individuals who happen to be differently abled.
Yes. Yeah, I hope so too. That's always the goal. And I've been a little crazy as poor Fran got to witness just a couple of minutes before we came on air. I was still in a meeting and the meeting is still happening. And I was like, I have to
go. Yeah, I sent you a text. Time?
Yeah, I know. I didn't even see that though, because I was on the phone talking and I get it. I mean, like I see that there's a notification that I have a message, but I didn't actually look at the message. So I was just like, I'm sorry to be rude, but I really need to go. So here we are. Deep breath.
So breathe.
Yes, exactly. So summertime is almost here, or for a lot of people, it is already here. And by summertime, of course, I mean that time between when school ends and school starts again. So where do we go from here, Fran?
Well, I did want to tell you what I did in the time that we haven't been together.
Okay.
Something fun, and I think it's important because we talk about giving ourselves times to refresh, refuel, when those tanks are running low. And I went camping.
Oh, fun!
And I have not been camping since high school.
Were you in Germany? A tent, or were you in a camper, or in an RV?
I was in a tent, and it was when it was bitterly cold, like almost freezing cold at nighttime.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I say that sarcastically.
But I had a really good sleeping bag from Germany still, and it was rated for sub-zero. And when I was in the sleeping bag, it was awesome. But you have to get out of the sleeping bag at times.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, that was when it was cold. And you'll have to ask my daughter, but the raccoons were very interesting. They tried to join her in her tent.
Oh no!
Yes. They're very adept at all kinds of things.
Oh,
so
I'm
we
sure.
did discover that. So, but I came back so refreshed, refueled, and I just have I have a refocus on the world and what my purpose is, and into what I'm to be pouring my energy in directions. So
awesome.
I just want to encourage other people when you're spinning your wheels, you feel like you're on that hamster wheel that just keeps going and going and going nowhere, but you're going and you're spinning your wheels, to step off of it in some way. Whether, I'm not saying you have to go camping, especially when it's freezing with the raccoons.
Right.
But even if you can turn your media off, your phone off, and just put a pillow behind your head, not over your face, behind your head, and just relax.
Yeah.
Just get a few breaths, and we all need that. We're not meant to go, go, go. We were not created to go, go, go.
Right. I actually
So
did that.
That's just my uneducated advice from someone that just benefited from it.
Yeah. I am getting ready to launch a course through my website, and I've been working on it quite a bit for the last couple of months, maybe even 3 months. And it's always on my mind. And it was always, just something that I was thinking about, like, how do I do this? And when can I do this? And how do I, get the word out, and how to prepare it, and actually then prepare it, and then go through it and do all that stuff. And so I had a day, it's been since we were together last. I can't remember exactly when I did it, but I was like, I'm not doing it. I'm not going to my computer where that all is. And I'm not turning on my phone and looking at stuff. And I'm not going to, just, and it was so wonderful, and I had not done that in a long time, where I was just like, no, I need a day where I don't have electronics. Electricity, yes, but electronics very minimally that day.
Digital media.
Yeah. And not looking at my phone. I heard a statistic the other day, and it was mind-blowing to me. And I'm trying to come up with a way to say it so you'll understand it and the audience will understand it.
You just do it for them. It's okay.
The average person looks at their cell phone 150 times a day. So that's like, they've looked at their cell phone like 8 alphabets per day.
How many alphabets?
Oh, see, I did it again.
It's okay. Don't worry about it. It's all good.
This many.
Uh-huh.
Can you see
Okay.
those?
Wow, that's a lot. Yeah.
So I thought, oh my gosh, I've not counted, but I'm sure I'm right well within that average, or I may be one of the people that pulls it up higher, because I do so much of my business through Facebook and social media and my phone. And so yeah, that just was astounding to me. So we all need to do that.
We do. Sorry, I need to send this. I just needed to send that. That was my daughter. Oh. She's at my parents', and she's calling in. I'm like, she knows I'm on Fridays with Fran, but I was just reminding her. So as to segue from where you just were, and how we all need that break. So yes, some are already in the summer break of between school, and some are hitting the tail end and feeling that hamster wheel spin. What is the best way to navigate a summer? Because do you schedule out every moment? Do you keep a regular schedule with your child, or do you just go with the flow and have nothing, or do you kind of have a general gist of it, but you're flexible?
I think, and I actually was on a podcast recently, and I said this basic same answer, that you have to know individually. You have to know the individual person, the individual family. Hi, Mom.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say Mom's on.
And you have to figure it out from there, because what might work for my family might not be as helpful for your family. We have more of a, okay, if it happens, it happens. We do actually have a vacation. Kevin and I have a vacation planned this year.
How did you pull that off?
Well, he's got some family in the area where we're going, and they invited us up for one weekend. Well, then the following weekend, within about a 2-hour drive from the family, I have a conference. So we said, well, rather than, drive up the 8 hours, so A, B, C, D, E, F, G, the H hours, and then drive home, and then, me go back up again, we said, we're just going to stay and, visit some stuff and do some things. And Violet is going to be here to watch our dog for us and be home to take care of the house. And so, yeah, it's just going to be Kevin and I for a week to 8 days because of the driving up for the one event with the family, and then the driving back home the day after or the day of whenever my conference ends. So, yeah, I'm very excited.
Sounds really cool. I'm excited to hear when you return how you feel.
Yeah, and I hope to be able to at least do, because I think there might be Fridays that will be either traveling or actually gone. But I hope to be able to do Friday with Fran and my hashtag no limits.
That would be good.
From Wisconsin is where we're going. So.
Oh, that'll be cool. I want to share a picture with you.
Okay.
This was my favoriteest thing. I got up super early in the morning.
Am I sharing this with the whole audience, or is this just for me?
No, it's for the whole audience.
Darn. Okay.
Because as I'm thinking about you're getting away, and I was like, I want to show them what I did. Yeah. I got up super early, and I could see the sunrise over the trees behind me. And I had a little pot. I boiled water for my tea, and I did my devotional, and just sat there and listened to the birds, and it was just so beautiful and relaxing.
Yeah, isn't nature wonderful?
Yes.
It really, I just love to go sit on our backyard on our patio furniture and just listen to the birds and watch the rabbits and the squirrels who run around, hopefully not in my garden, because then I don't like them. And when I could smell, and I, could smell all the pretty flowers that my husband has planted. And, it's just, it is. And when my husband and I were a little bit younger, we used to, go on walks and go on hikes. I guess they were hikes, but they were more like slow walks. I wouldn't say that when I think hiking, I think like special gear and boots and ups and downs, and we'd go out into parks and different places and go on those kind of trails, and but we haven't done that much, of course, like everyone else.
Mom, I got a question for you. What did you do in the past, and what do you do now to refresh and refuel?
My mom? You're asking my mom?
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure she knew she was being asked a question.
Oh, okay. I'm asking you, Mom. Shelley's mom, that is.
And anyone else who's joining us, because
yes,
it says we have several people joining us. So let us know that you're here. Join in with us.
So I know what I did with my kids. Do you want to share what you did with your kid?
To refresh, or to?
The summer breaks. What you did in the in betweens?
Oh, in between, yeah. We would. Some summers
did you schedule, or were you really rigid? Were you flexible,
no.
Did you have no schedule at all?
We would have a sort of a schedule, but it wasn't that it had to be adhered to. So, growing up, my mother had certain days of the week that certain activities were done at home. So there were laundry days, and there were cleaning days, and there were grocery shopping days, and then the weekends were pretty much always free. But at my house, I would say, okay, well, yeah, let's set Mondays for vacuuming or whatever. Well, some Mondays vacuuming didn't happen, so we would have ideas of things, oh, maybe on this day we're going to go to the botanical gardens, or we're going to go to the pool, or we're going to go, wherever. We're not really big planners. We are much more, hey, it's Friday and tomorrow's the weekend. Do you want to call some friends and see if they want to do something? And then, of course, all the friends are usually busy because we've waited till the last minute and they've already planned. So, so yeah, we were pretty just, okay, what are we going to do today? And we focused on today a lot of the times in the summer and didn't really, and that's how we would be this summer too, except, like I said, we do have that 1 week that we are going somewhere, but outside of that part of the plan, there's no plan. It's not like go here this day and do this on this day and do that on that day.
Understand totally.
So how about you?
Well, I'm looking at your mom's comment. Yeah, I'm not a fan of snakes either.
I'm not coming to visit you now, Mom. Do you have snakes?
You need a cat.
Oh, don't say that to Violet.
Why?
Because Violet wants a cat and Kevin does not want a cat. And Violet's going to go live with Mom for a little while in the fall and finish up her college. She's going to commute for that semester. And Mom has all kinds of allergies. So Mom can't have a cat. Because Violet would not want it to just stay outside. She would want it to come in the house.
Got it. I understand.
So Mom, I'm curious, were you on your patio and they slunk up to the patio? Or were you like out walking and they found you? So who else is joining us, and what other ideas of things do you guys do? And Fran, what do you do with your kids in the summer?
They turned out to be dead.
Oh, okay.
So, okay, when they were younger, I was kind of structured because they had therapies and things like that, and Bubby was in extended education. No, not extended.
Summer school.
Okay, summer school. What is it called? You had it the other day. You were discussing the differences.
Oh, extended school year. Extended school year. Yeah.
Yes, he was extended school year. So we had that to navigate. And then as they got older, things got a little more flexible. And as I added more jobs, things definitely got more flexible.
Sorry, I just read Mom's comment.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah, I probably wouldn't have jumped because wheelchairs tend not to jump.
Right.
I might have jumped within my wheelchair.
Yeah. Well, and she threw me off because she said they decided to join her, but then she said they were dead. So that's why I was like, well, how could they join you if you were dead? You actually snuck up on them. I don't want to say that you joined them because that would be bad. But yeah. You entered their space versus the other way around.
Their dead space.
Yeah. So Bubby had extended school year, which, by the way, for anybody who's watching, that is not summer school. Those are two very different things. Okay, moving on.
Do you want to break that down?
Nope, not right now.
Okay. And so it was a little more structured, and then it got a little easier. But as my kids got older, I realized, especially my daughter, she just needs a lot of unstructured time. She calls it, I need to relax. And her length of I need to relax is really long. So we're actually working out how long that is realistically allowed to be this summer.
Okay.
And how to include the expectations and how to ensure that those responsibilities are accomplished while still allowing the relaxed time.
Right.
So she has finished her extended education.
Okay.
For this time. And so she's finished. And I honestly, I thought, I have given her not really many responsibilities right now, because I figure we'll start back up, coming up the following thingy. And we're going to sit down together and come up with a plan.
That's awesome.
So that's the plan to do. But I know that even for Luke right now, he's really struggling because he doesn't have structure. And so it's important that he would really benefit right now from having more structured days.
Yeah.
So if he were residing at home, I would probably have a little more structure. But
yeah,
Allison tends to do better with, okay, you have, by this time, this needs to be done. Don't bother me till that time. She's normally frantically up to that moment trying to finish it.
Hi, Dennis. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, Dennis.
Tell Carla I said hi.
So that's kind of it was an evolving thing for us.
Well, and it makes a difference. Age makes a difference. Ability level makes a difference. When I was younger, probably, and I was working more, there were a lot of things that I probably did structure more than now that, Violet's in college and she's an adult and she is home from college now. And so that's a whole new avenue to figure out and travel on, okay, she has lived kind of on her own for the last, 3 years at college. I mean, she's been home each summer, but she's at that age now where we just got to figure this all out. And sitting down, and we've chatted with her a couple times, but nothing's really been decided. And just like when she stays with mom, I've told them both, you guys got to work this kind of stuff out, because Violet has a different way of looking at things than I do, and then my mom does, and none of us are right, none of us are wrong. It's all different. So we just have to figure out how to cooperate under the same roof and live the way that we're comfortable living and respect the other people.
And I think that is the key for a lot of things. I call it choosing your battles. A lot of times for me, is that really that important? Or is this something that has repercussions that I do need to address?
Right. Yeah. And then also, I think sometimes I consider the repercussions and then weigh those with other repercussions that could happen, and then determine which repercussions are not as bad.
Yep. Yes. Definitely. So I guess what I'm gathering from what we've shared, we've both talked about, is there is no right or wrong. And
no, I don't think so.
It's dependent on a lot of different factors, and it's very fluid. Meaning it even if you start out the summer a certain way, it doesn't mean you have to finish your summer that way. And it doesn't mean you're a failure if what you started out with, you do not end.
Right. There's, I think it's Maya Angelou who said, we did what we knew how to do then, but now that we know more, now that we know better, we do better. So I think that's a great way to look at exactly, to kind of phrase what you just said, that you do what you do at first, and and then you learn that way works or it doesn't work. And so because you've learned, then you move on and you adapt and you change. And if that way works for a while and then you have to move on and adapt and change again, that's okay, because hopefully in life, we're all always learning something and growing and maturing. And so, we can change our approach. Dennis, I don't know if you were on when we're talking about the things that we do with our kids or with our own lives during the summer. And you have more children than I do, and you have more children than Fran does. But you have a very different perspective too from the both of us, because you and your wife are full-time employees. And, myself, when I was a full-time employee, I still had summers off, quote unquote. As a teacher, we're never completely off. But so, yeah, I'm curious, Dennis, if you can, because you are at work, but if you can type in, what you do with your family. Is it structured? Is it, every day has to be a certain thing, or every day is very just go with the flow? So if you can, go ahead and type that in. And there's no right or wrong way unless you're a Holt Crave or a Jansen. And then there's the Holt Crave way and the Jansen way, and you don't do it any other way. But we're getting better, I think, most of us. Maybe not.
So,
but
yeah. I'm thinking, I'm laughing on that. And I'm thinking, sorry, there's someone's cutting grass and my windows and doors are open, and it's attacking my allergies right now. I'm highly allergic to grass, so I'm trying not to itch my nose and cough and sneeze, etc.
Okay.
Anyway, I was thinking on how we were talking also about the refreshing, refueling, etc. And it brought a smile to me as you were talking about, Holt Crave and Jansen, but then it reminded me of the fact where you and I last ran into each other.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I had to think for a second.
We were refreshing and refueling. We ran into each other at a women's worship night.
Yep. And had no idea that the other one was going to be there.
No. And it was really sweet. And the speaker spoke on that which we had just spoken earlier in the day.
Right.
Touched upon a lot of the different strategies. And so it was meant to be, but I know that I came away not only just from the worship night, but interacting with others. So fellowshipping with one another, getting out with others outside of your house sometimes, especially in this time of COVID, or whatever it is, wherever we are in whatever season you want to call it at this point.
Right.
Stepping outside of the house and interacting with someone with whom you haven't been this entire time can give you a different light and a refreshing or a feeling, I believe.
Yeah. And both of us were invited to that event. But we didn't know, or at least I didn't realize I knew other people that were going to that event. And so I went there thinking, oh, the only person I'm going to know is the person who invited me. But it was so nice to find out, like when we walked in and we went over towards our seats, and the person who was with me, I looked at Fran and I said, you're supposed to be asleep. You're not supposed to be here. And because it was an evening time, and that's usually her sleep time. And the person that was with me said, is that Fran from Friday with Fran? And I said, it is the one and only. But then, so, I started talking to you, and then all of a sudden someone else came up, and I was like, oh, and I know you. And then I started talking to someone else. And so the person I was with was like, I thought I was going to introduce you to people, and you know just as many here as I do. Different people to know, but kind of the same number. And but yeah, sometimes we have to do that. Tomorrow night, is it tomorrow night? Yeah. My husband and I are going to dinner with a couple that I've never met. He knows the man, but he doesn't know the man's wife, so it's nice to get out and do those things and meet new people. And I'm so thankful that we can do that again, because I think it's really energizing a lot of people to be able to do that again. And I was telling someone the other day that I think people are finding reasons to celebrate even something that may not have required or warranted a party in the past, because of everything that's happened in this past year. People are like, yeah, let's have a party to celebrate that, just so they can be around other people. So this is what Dennis says. So for the past several years, previous to COVID, we have sent the kids to different summer camps, also family vacations. Essentially, we try to keep them busy, but by day 2 of school being out, we still get the I'm bored. Well, yeah, that I think that, that doesn't matter how old the person is. When the routine is different, like I'm not a person to sit on a beach. I could not do that for more than a day. And even doing that for a day is difficult for me. A few hours, okay. But not
I want to explore the beach.
Yeah, I want to be moving around, and yeah, exactly. Plus I burn like a lobster. So, that's not, even when I put sunscreen on, because then I'll forget to put it on. And, or reapply it, I should say. So then I end up getting burned, and it's like, yeah, this was no fun. Now I'm in pain. Why did I do this?
But I could sit at a campfire all day long.
Yeah.
Because I can listen to nature, but I don't think I can do it in the heat of the summer. It's
right.
Just, so it was actually perfect to go when I went.
Yeah. So did you go camping someplace close, or did you have to go far away?
No, I went close to the east side of the nearby lake.
Oh,
the campground there.
Yeah.
Yeah. It
Very
was
cool.
Cheaper campground, and it's federal, so our campsite was paved, and which was perfect for my car chair and my rollerator walker and everything else.
Awesome.
It was great.
Yeah, that's a beautiful area. That's one of my 2 favorite places in Earth, is at that lake.
Yeah, I really don't go out there very much, but I'm starting to.
Yeah.
So we actually have another camping trip planned.
Oh, very good.
To the lake that's southeast of us.
Okay.
So hopefully, at least that's the plan as of right now. So.
Right.
And I got to go with my sister and our girls. So it was a new experience for them. And it was neat. It was a special time to be with my family.
Yeah.
She works for me as my personal assistant, but it was nice just to get away and connect as sisters and family. And
right.
So.
Yeah.
So getting away doesn't mean always getting away from your own family. It means just a change of routine, I think, is maybe a way you could look at it.
Right. Yeah. And even when Kevin and I go to Wisconsin, we've already talked about that. We'll both be, because both of us are able to do what we do from anywhere in the country. So we'll both be able to be working, but it will be different, and it will be refreshing because it will be from someplace else. And it's that change of scenery sometimes is just all you need. And again, when we were first married, we would do that. We'd just get in the car and we'd drive somewhere. The reason I chuckle is because that became a saying in our family several years ago. We went for a drive with my mom somewhere, and she was like, well, I didn't know this. And this was like around, her area. And she was like, oh, well, I didn't know that was going up. Oh, I didn't know that came down. We said, oh, you need to take a drive more often. And, amazing the things you see when you go for a drive. So, we've done that a couple of times and used that saying over and over again. But just kind of got out of the habit of doing that. And and then gas got expensive, and we had a kid, and, other things happened. But, just those kinds of.
Mom said? Yeah.
Take my lunch away by the lake on occasion, just have something different to look at. Love to watch the birds and the boats. Yeah. Yeah. And it is, and even if it's 5 minutes, we've talked about refreshing, because we've said it multiple times. You have to have your battery charged in order to be able to help somebody else. And you need to take time for yourself, even if it's just slowly meditating, breathing, or saying prayers or listening to praise music. Just let yourself stop doing that hamster wheel, even for just a couple minutes. Like you said earlier. And so what kinds of things, because we did title this episode, It's Summer, Now What? Go with the flow, hybrid, or schedule. So what kinds of things besides camps and therapists what other kinds of things would you schedule?
Doctor's appointments, specialists, so they didn't miss school. There was like vacation Bible school, things like that. You'd have your sports. We would try to schedule to see family. Take a trip. We often, when the kids were younger, I would take trips with my parents to go places. And so we would have a summer trip. Bank your timeshare, go somewhere else, timeshare kind of concept. So we did that. We have family east and west, so we would either try to tie it that way so we could see them. But when they were younger, I know I tried to schedule in educational time. Because I didn't want them to regress. I wanted to, because my goal in life has always been to help them reach their fullest potential.
Right.
Whatever that may be, I just wanted to help them reach it. But so we would do a lot of their therapies and the things we would continue, and things would be sent home from school. But I came to realize we needed a break from that. They needed a break from it. I needed a break. I couldn't jam it down their throats. So we would have it available and I would touch on it, but it wasn't something that had to be done before we could do something else.
Right.
It was hey, I really want to focus on this for a little bit. Let's try. And we try and to change it a little bit, or just to get the concept in there. But I did it, and in the beginning, I was very concrete on it and rigid, and I learned that I had to be very fluid.
Right. And that's one of the nice things about whether it's summer school or extended school year, because they typically don't immediately start right when school lets out. They do, some have a week break, some have a month break, and then they'll, have some summer school time or the extended school year time. And then there's another break before the next school year begins, because kids do need that, and I was in a meeting, as I said earlier, right leading up to the very second before, we pressed go live today. And that was something that we were discussing was, the differences between extended school year and summer school, and when might the extended school year start. Because it doesn't have to coincide with summer school. And it doesn't even have to happen in the summer, to be perfectly honest. Extended school year is just anything that is extended outside of the typical Monday to Friday, 8 to 3, or whatever your school day is. But kids are just like us in the sense of, if you go to work for 8 hours a day, you don't then want to come home and do 4 more hours of the same thing. Your brain needs to do something else, whether it's nothing, or it's housework or cooking or yard work or interacting with family, or whatever it is. Homework is, I have a whole opinion about homework that differs from the majority. But even if they have homework, don't force that to happen right after school. Now, there are those few kids that, they do want to get it and get it done so they don't have to worry about it. Okay. But you need to know that about your kid. So it's I feel it's the same concept with scheduling or not scheduling. And I'm glad that you brought up the academics, because that's what I was thinking. When I would schedule things, poor Violet, having a mom for a teacher, we were always teaching her something. But she was okay with that. She liked to learn. She still likes to learn. Sorry, didn't realize that was still on. And so if you had a child, though, who didn't like to learn, and then you tried to force more school on them in the summer, maybe you're strengthening academic skills, but what are you doing emotionally to them? And then how does that affect their view of school when they do have to go every day? So that's things that you have to consider as well when you're thinking about rescheduling and that regression of skills, or, you know, it's good to do it periodically. You know, maybe a couple times a week, maybe 3 times a week. But they need the rest of the time to be kids, honestly. You know, our kids have so little time to be kids anymore.
Right. You're right. Sorry, I didn't.
No.
I was just sorry. I had to answer that.
It's okay.
My life has not slowed down. But you're right. Kids have to be kids. But I as that you were talking about, Violet having a mom as a school teacher. My mom was a teacher as well, and I'm laughing because so we were in Europe, and we always took this many church days, and we would travel a country. If it was big, if it was small, like a couple countries or something like that. Sometimes we did only part of a country. You know, like France was really big, so we went around, but we didn't do the center, and another time we did the center. But anyway, my mom was an earth science teacher. So to this day, I still remember when we would be going through the mountains, her saying, okay, so are these old mountains or are they new mountains? Do you know if they're igneous or it? And I remember the songs, but for me, that was neat. And to this day, I still, if I see where there's been a cut for a road and you can see the folds and the layers, and that's just part of how I was brought up. And it was fun because we made it fun. But if mom had sat there and go, okay, I need you to tell me exactly why these are folded this way, and that, would I have enjoyed it and would I have retained it to this day? Probably not.
No.
But, and I bet if I asked my sister, she would probably go like, yeah, I don't remember that. Because that wasn't her focus and that wasn't her interest. And mom was okay with that too. She knew that, and she knew I was excited about it. So she would point it out, but she wouldn't shove it down either of our throats either.
Right.
So.
Yeah. And we would play games in the car if we were driving somewhere, you know, that it was me teaching her things, but it was done in a fun way. And one of the lessons that I remembered from one of my professors when I was getting my teaching degree was the acronym KISS, K-I-S-S. A lot of people drop the second S, and you're going to figure it out when I say the second S, why they drop it off. But it's keep it simple, stupid. So instead of, you know, but it's like, you know, duh, don't make it so complicated. Keep it simple. You know,
keep it simple, Simon. I've heard it said too.
Yeah.
I don't know, but yeah.
So yeah, you know, and keeping it simple, keeping it fun, and in a way that, you know, they don't know that it's happening, or going back to letting kids be kids, let them explore, let them be bored. Let them figure out what to do with themselves when they're bored.
Right.
That was something that I think it was a friend of ours who said she never let her kids say they were bored. They could never come to her and say, I'm bored. If they did, she had a chore jar that if they said they were bored, because in today's world, there really isn't a reason for you to be bored, because there's, you know, the internet to read, there's books to read, there's the outside to explore, there's, you know, puzzle. I mean, there isn't any reason to be bored. But so if they came to her, you know, that's what they would have to draw a chore from the chore jar if they said they were bored. So we started that with Violet, and she learned very quickly not to say she was bored, and she found things to do. You know, like I said, whether it was a puzzle or reading a book or doing, you know, coloring or going outside, we didn't let her venture too far away from, or I shouldn't say I didn't let her venture too far away from me, because I was just one of those paranoid first-time moms that was like, oh no, she goes too far away, you know, somebody's going to grab her or something's going to happen, or but we'd let her play in the dirt and in the grass and climb trees and, explore the world as small as it was in our backyard or front yard or across the street. But
Cooper,
hi, Cooper.
Somebody's coming up. Sorry.
That's okay. And I think sometimes we, as parents, I've seen them try to schedule every minute of a child's time at home, even in the summer. And the kids don't get to figure things out on their own.
Right.
And we lose, I think, so much imagination by doing that. And sometimes maybe I let Violet imagine too much. But did you see what my mom says here? I'm going to post this because this cracks me up.
Yeah,
Violet used to shake her head at me when I would try to teach her some life things and say, the things grandmas try to teach their grandkids. Yeah, Violet was precocious, and she hung out with mostly adults growing up because unfortunately she did not have any siblings. And, she would be around kids, but she was around adults much more often.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and she's definitely got Kino and Holtcrave and Jansen in her because she's very knowledgeable and strong-willed and opinionated.
She knows what she wants.
Yes, she does. Yes, she does. And she's often not afraid to share her opinion, whether it's a popular one or not. But that's okay. I don't usually keep my opinions to myself. I don't go blasting them out on social media, but I will have a one-on-one conversation with somebody and let my opinion be known about things.
Yes, you will. In a good way.
Hi, Alex. So, Alex, we've been talking about scheduling or going with the flow. And now that you're on, the idea that we needed to hear is balance. We need to have balance. We need to know what our kids need, and we need to know what we need.
Mm-hmm.
And then try to balance between those two things.
Because sometimes even if it would be good for our kids, if our tank is empty, there is no way that we can be there in the way our kids would need us to be there when we take them there.
Nope, nobody had mentioned it until you came on, and I thought about it because I knew you were going to say
it. Because you cannot, as you were talking about an empty battery, what I was visualizing is an empty cup. And how can you pour out of a cup when there's nothing, when you're bone dry?
Yeah,
exactly. It's like there's nothing to give. So then you're giving out of something that really shouldn't be given.
Right.
You're depleting an area that isn't supposed to be shared.
Right.
What you need to function, your resources.
Yep. And and we do that to ourselves all the time. That's why we have such a mental health crisis in our country. Mm-hmm. It's because we're always trying to be on the go and always thinking we have to do, and we're uncomfortable when we're not.
Right.
And that does speak a little bit to what you and I said earlier about, we can't just lay on the beach for a day. I used to be able to do that. I can remember before they talked about how bad the sun was for you. I when I was younger, I would.
Lobster?
Huh?
You'd turn yourself into a lobster?
I would. Not that I would turn myself into a lobster, but I would be outside most of the day, all day. And, I can remember trying to get a tan, just laying out in a chair and just laying there. But again, I didn't do that all day, every day for a week. That's just not my personality. But I have found that it is much, much more difficult for me now to not pick up my phone and play one of my games. I'm a Candy Crush machine, man.
Are you? Never played it.
But, you know, it's very difficult for me to even watch TV and not have my phone playing a game and to just focus on that one episode, you know. Mom keeps me in check when I'm with her. She doesn't say anything, but I know it bothers her if I have my phone out when I'm with her. So I'll put it to the side and try not to pay attention to it. Because it is so important to be present with the person that's with you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, the messages that we send when we're in the presence of other human beings, but we're looking at our phone, says that whatever is on our phone is more important than the person that we're with.
Right. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say it deserves our attention more. Maybe not that they're more important, but we think at that moment it deserves our attention more.
Mm-hmm. The phone, whatever that is a higher priority at that point.
Yeah.
I saw something on Facebook the other day. It was a bunch of different pictures. And there was one of a love seat, and there was like a toddler on an end of it, and there was a mom, but in between was this huge phone with the screen faced towards the mom, and the toddler's over there with the toys just sitting there, and the mom's staring at the thing. Yeah. And there was one of a dinner table, and it looked like there had been like an earthquake crater, you know, that it was separated, and both of the people at the table were staring at their phones.
Yeah.
And another one, the phone there was tentacles coming out of the phone, and they were wrapped around the head because it had just totally sucked them in. And it really struck me, and I was like, okay, I'm going to put this phone down. I've really tried recently to be very intentional to be with whomever I am at that time. If I'm waiting, if I know I'm waiting on a phone call or a message that's urgent, I will tell them ahead of time. If I get a text, I'm just going to check to see if it's this. I'm waiting on something. Otherwise, I'll say, oh, it wasn't, and I just don't even respond. So I try to allow for the fact that, yes, I have a lot of urgent things going on in my life. But if at all possible, I try to be in the moment. I didn't take my computer when I went camping. And there's a lot of I can't do a lot of things on my phone because I can't see it, or you just can't do them on your phone.
Right. Doesn't have the same functionality.
Purpose not to, I didn't take it. Because I said, it's anything that's occurring is not that important.
Right.
And it was weird though to set it aside.
Oh, I bet.
It'd be like,
and
why am
on the flip side of that?
Oh, you froze. We lost you, Shelley. Well, I'll keep talking. I think you can hear me.
Oh, there. Okay.
There you are.
Yeah, we were on my screen. We were both gone. I just had the little spinny dial. So that's really weird. I don't know what's going on with my internet connection, but I totally lost my train of thought too.
Internet connection problems too. Oh, you were saying on the flip side when I was talking about.
Oh yeah, on the flip side of that, when you have messaged somebody and you're used to them responding to you quickly and they don't, how do you feel?
Oh yeah. In the past, I used to think, I messed up. They're mad at me, or what's going on with them? Are they okay?
Do you ever get impatient because you're expecting an immediate reaction or an immediate answer and you're not getting it?
Not anymore. I did in the past. Yes, yeah. I've had to. I've come where I'm like, okay, I'll send a message, and if it's urgent, I'll call them.
Right.
And say, I really need to know this.
Right.
But if I don't put this is an urgent matter, I just assume they'll get to me when they can get to me.
Yeah. And that's the thing is we need to provide that grace for people if they don't respond to us immediately, even if they normally respond to us immediately, even if it takes them hours or a day or more to respond. Because they may be doing what we've talked about. they may be taking a much needed break. And they don't have to tell everybody in the world that they know that they're taking a much needed break. They can just do it. But we have become a society so used to instantaneous whatever that when something doesn't happen that way, it upsets us. You know, it's like something's wrong. Yeah. So, I mean, it'll take a lot, you know, for all of us to go back to, I mean, yeah, the pandemic forced us to be slower paced, you know, and not physically go anywhere. But I think then what it also did was forced us more into this kind of interacting. And so now we've gotten very used to this kind of interacting. And we have to go back to learning how to be social in person. And how to, you know, like the younger generation, they don't talk on the phone. Everything is a text, you know, and they almost get upset. Jonas just moved. They almost get upset if they have to talk on the phone because it's nerve-wracking to them to actually have a conversation where they don't have time to think about their answers.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing at your mom.
Well, yeah, sometimes when, you know, you've had
to share that comment
when you're not feeling well and you don't post on Facebook for a couple of days and your child tries to call you, then yeah, your child's going to come check on you or send somebody to the house. Yeah. I don't know who she's talking about that's ever done that, either of those things, but, but yeah, so I mean, we have to think about that. We have to be intentional, I think is the word that you used before, about where should our focus be and the expectations that we have that we place on other people.
And I know I'm sorry.
We're almost out of time. We've got this many minutes.
I know in the past I unfairly placed those expectations on others.
We all do.
And burden them with it. And I didn't realize it. And it took someone speaking truth going, why are you expecting, and would you expect that of me? Or is that fair if I expected that of you? And I'm like, no. Okay. So that was the start of rebooting. Allie, I'm on the phone. I'm on. Okay.
Yeah. Perspective, right? That's what we talked about the last time we were together. And what was shared at our fellowship night was your perspective of things.
Right.
You know, and yeah, it is. It's that perspective of, well, if you expected this of me, okay, that's one thing. But what if I expected that of you? Oh, yeah. Then that does, you know, I do see it differently and I do have a different opinion about it now.
So,
all right. So
right.
It's summertime.
So be flexible and have fun.
Are we going to continue with Fridays with Fran? Are we going to schedule that in?
I think we should schedule some in at least.
I think so too.
I would like to.
I hope our audience
flexible with it, with our Fridays with Fran.
Yes. If we need to take a break and we don't have a Friday with Fran, we'll try to let you know. How about that?
All right.
But otherwise, we'll plan every Friday in the summer to have Friday with Fran. If not, we'll give you a best of like we did the last 2 weeks. I don't know that those were the best of, but they were good ones. I hope people enjoyed them, that we're able to watch them again. So
and
until next week.
Remember, you are not alone. Reach out.
Yes, always. Always. We are here. Find us. You can find us on Facebook. You know what our names are. All right. Everyone, have a great week. God bless you. And we will see you here next Friday. Yep. Thanks, Mom. I'll come see you before next week, Mom. I promise. Everybody heard me now, so I have to do it. Bye-bye.